everybody doing? Please, 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 please. Please. Get your libation. Get whatever you need to get through the tomfoolery. Some don't sound right. Let me know. But please get whatever you need to get through the tomfoolery of everything we're dealing with in this ADOS political space. Please, 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 please listen. We keep ending up at the same place, but before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure you hit that like button, family. This is just in the way. Make sure you hit the like button for me. Make sure you do everything you need to do. You know, to support what we're trying to do right here. Make sure you do everything. Why is YouTube talking to me right now? Child, I don't need all that chitter chatter. Do everything you need to do, right? Hit the like button, subscribe. Like I said, we're going Wednesdays. We're going to be here. So Wednesdays is YouTube time. That's Wednesdays is YouTube time. And that's what we're going to do. And everybody just going to have to get used to it. All right. That's what we're doing on Wednesdays, Mondays, and Thursday. Right. Is our Patreon time. So we're having a book club tomorrow for those who are going to be there. I am looking forward to it. Ooh. Like, I learned a lot. Like, we're only going to do the first half. Listen, now, computer, you got to stop talking. Everybody just got to stop talking. I don't want to hear nobody but me right now. Everybody just got to stop talking. But we got to get into something else, fam. We got to get into something else. And you hate to have to talk about this stuff, but some people just don't learn from mistakes and all kind of stuff that happened to them. So, fam, there's so much to be said for the ability. There is so much to be said for the ability to assess and reassess. If we were a business, right? If we were a company, people would be willing to, if we were, instead of organizations, foundations, if we were companies and we weren't making no money, people would be able to come in and assess and reassess and say, this ain't working out. You ain't selling what you said you was going to sell. And I don't know whether it's the marketing team. I don't know who it is, but you got to get it together or we're not making any more investments in what you're doing. That's what they would be saying. But somehow, and y'all can help me figure out how, somehow in the advocacy community, that just doesn't happen. Somehow, and see, let me just, before we get into what Shaun King is accused of, it's all alleged. I don't think anybody is saying that except for the figures is up to interpretation, whatever. I don't want to get caught up in that part. And let me tell you why. People say, "Bet, why don't you want to get caught up in and just come out here and just say he's a scammer or a grip?" I don't, listen, I'm not getting, because I think that's a distraction. I think that's a distraction from the real issue. And once I go through this and show you this, I want to tell you what I think the real issue is. So let's just go through a little bit of this for those who didn't see this. Let's just go through a little bit of it so that we kind of come to terms with what is being said here. This is, Shaun King has had 20,000 different things that he's doing, right? He's had so many different programs and stuff that's going to help the Negro. Right. So the tax, this is the latest and the greatest one. I want y'all to you can go look it up on your own time how many they had. The tax documents revealed that during the first year of its existence, a period. Now this is the one. Dang, what's it called? I thought I put that in there, but it's gonna come up. Oh man, what is it called? It's something like the courts or something. But we're gonna get to it. The tax documents of his latest and greatest reveal that during the first year of its existence, a period that coincided with the largest racial justice protest in the nation's history, the organization collected more than 6.7 million. Now understand what's being said and what's not being said. These tax documents only reveal the first year of its existence. It does not tell us, always understand what is being told to you and what is not being told. It says the first year. It don't deal with nothing else. Let me tell you, a lot of people raked up money after somebody gets murdered or somebody gets hurt or whatever. There's a lot of raking in of money. This racial justice thing is a cash cow for people who are not seeking to change things. They're seeking to bring awareness. We got to get out of that. Well, I just want to bring awareness and let people know. I just want to bring awareness and let people know. 6.7 million. First year. We don't know nothing about the other years. We don't know nothing about the other years. This is just the first year. I want y'all to just stay on that, because we'll be like, well, 6.7 million. 6.7 million. Da, 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 da. This is the Grassroots Law Project. You can look up how many projects he done had. Right? Further, Federal Election Commission's records also show that 2 political action committees tied to the controversial activists have poured close to $500,000 into the organization. Now let's just continue, shall we? The single largest expenditure the Grassroots Law Project made in its first year was $2,654,434, which the disclosures only state went to bridge the gap between grassroots organizing and legal expertise to reform the American justice system. Now that is too vague for me to understand anything that you did with the monies. Where is the money? That's a very vague. We tried to help people legally phrase. Remember the theme, fam, for this show is assess and reassess. Assess and reassess. That's not, I don't know, when I read that phrase, I don't know what bridging the gap means. What did you do specifically with this $2 million that you got off of black bodies? What happened? Okay, let's go to the next one real quick. The organization's representative acknowledged to the Daily Beast that this referred at least in part to the group's flagship program following its launch, Truth, Justice, and Reconciliation Commissions, ostensibly modeled on those instituted after the fall of apartheid in South Africa. Now that's kind of odd, don't you think? That the Grassroots Law Project would go on to help set up in the district attorney's offices of San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Boston. Now let me come out here for 1 second and say something. Another thing that absolutely has to happen is you got to understand when somebody doesn't have a vision. Let me say that again. When you're assessing and reassessing, you have to understand when somebody does and does not have a vision. All of this regurgitation, let me put this back up for 1 second. This is modeled off of South Africa. This is not the same thing. This is not the same country. This is not, we don't need a truth and reconciliation. This is not the moment for that. See, I saw some people after the Woman King, the boycott Woman King hashtag, I saw some people come out and say, oh, well, let me talk to you. Give me a meeting with Viola and we can. People will come underneath something and undermine it because now is not the moment for to do it. It's not to say that it can't ever be done. It's not to say that we're just gonna hold something against Viola forever. It's the fact that if you don't have the vision, then you certainly don't understand the timing and you don't understand what's supposed to happen. What happened here is that what Shaun King has proven over time is that there is no vision here. There is only a scatteredness that kind of hops from place to place. Hop, 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 hop. That's not vision. Hopping around from place to place is not vision. Vision is understanding where you want to go, what you want to do, and getting people on board who can make that happen. You have been Shaun King. You have been in 1,000 different places at 1,000 different times. And this is not South Africa. So we are not looking for truth and reconciliation. It's not the moment for that. But you find that in a lot of different orgs where all that they can do is talk about what King said, and talk about what Malcolm said, and talk about what Fannie Lou said. And it's just, child, no, it's not the time right now to talk about what other people did. It's not the time to talk about what James Baldwin did. It's the time to be James Baldwin. It's not the time to talk about what King did. It's the time to be King. It's not the time to talk about what Malcolm did. It's time to be Malcolm. And if you can't do that, it's time to step away. And listen, word to white people, y'all got to stop being so scared. You won't say nothing. You won't say nothing at all. You won't say nothing about Shaun King, Black Lives Matter. They run away with all your money and our money too. And you, well, I don't want to know, because every time I say something, they accuse me of racism. So I feel kind of a way. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to get accused of anything, because you know that's what they do. And that's what, isn't that what Patrice Coles did? Oh, if I would listen, it's just an attack on black women. Oh. It's so, I'm not safe. Candace Owens, another black woman who I don't agree with at all. I disagree with her 90% of the time. She came to my home and I'm not safe. This is an attack. Wait a minute, attack on black women. Another black woman came to your house, and it was the reason she came to your house because the Black Lives money had been spent on something else. You just gave her an opening that she didn't deserve. Like all these unforced errors, y'all just give people openings that they don't deserve. You just, oh my God. It's just so many unforced errors. If you hadn't bought the house and used it for all the wrong things, and your baby daddy's involved and all that stuff, allegedly, then we wouldn't have this problem now, would we? But oh, it's just black women. It's just like, oh, just be held accountable. Even with the whole Viola Davis thing, oh, it's just the black. We have supported Viola Davis throughout her entire career. What we will not support is slave catchers who caught us and sent us over here. We will not support and glorify and make them into heroes. What's wrong with y'all? And we have to start being able to assess and reassess and holding people accountable. And white people, you got to do it too. If you sent your money to any of these people, you got to be willing to say, hey, these people, some of these people need to be investigated, because there hasn't been any political movement. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody else about bringing awareness and hopping from case to case to case. Every time somebody get hurt and keep hopping case to case. We out here raising money, y'all. We out here raising cash. This is a systemic problem. And it requires a systemic fix. If you're not talking about that, and if you're not focused on that and solely focused on that, I'm going to wonder if you're running a con. But it's not even about that. As much as it's about what I said I was going to tell y'all, it's about whether or not you're effective. Let's continue to go through this a little bit. Just a few things. You got to assess and reassess. That is the theme, ladies and gentlemen. Can you assess and reassess the situation? The restorative boards received, now we're talking about, remember what we saw over here. Let's go back to what we saw over here. That the Grassroots Law Project will go on to help set up in the district attorney's offices of San Francisco, Philadelphia, and Boston. Okay, so let's go on to what we're seeing over here. These restorative boards receive considerable publicity and fanfare, along with their own website, fundraising page. There's always a fundraising page with Shaun King, child, and multiple social media accounts. When the Grassroots Law Project and the local prosecutors announced them in early July 2020. All right. Here's what they said. Just let's see what we're going here. This system is not broken. It's functioning exactly the way those who designed and built it intended it to function. It was not built to give marginalized communities. Now let's stop right there. Let's stop right there for a second. Because y'all got to start being able to recognize some stuff. We all have to. And everybody in here is better than most, because we've been doing this for a while. We practicing this. We have to say it for people who this is new to them. Right? Somebody may hop on here and not know. Listen. That is mission drift. What do you mean about that's mission drift? When he comes on and says marginalized communities, right? King said in a joint press release with Philadelphia DA Larry Kessner, then San Francisco DA Chesa Boudin, and then Boston DA Rachel Rollins. When he says marginalized communities, that's mission drift. Because it wasn't marginalized communities. That's not the reason George Floyd died. That's not the reason Trayvon Martin, Tamir. It's not the reason any of those were black. Those were ADOS people for the most part, right? Mostly men. It's not about marginalized communities. When you see that, when somebody has raised money on the backs and on the bodies of our people, because you go into the George Floyd story, he should have had money. You go all the way back to his people and how the land was taken from them. You go all the way back to his story when he's trying to make a way for himself. He's recovering from what he'd been going through, and then the world collapses up under him again. He shouldn't have had that. That shouldn't even been his situation, given that his family used to own land, right? That is a story of Adolf's life. That is what you should be doing. When you get up here and start talking about marginalized communities, I know this is mission driven. Anybody can claim they're marginalized. I don't care whether you're a white woman. I don't care whether you're a person who suffers from a disability, whether you're Latino, anybody who is not a white man can say I'm a marginalized community. That's mission drift. You have to be able to assess and reassess. And when somebody shows you that, what they're telling you is that I am engaged in mission drift. And you can't give no money to somebody for black lives and black politics or whatever, which is really largely and mostly Adolf's politics. You can't give no money to that and then see them engaged in mission drift and not do anything and not withdraw your support. This is not about whether or not, I don't want to have the conversation. See, y'all can be arguing all day about whether or not he's a scammer or not. I'm not here to answer that question. What you have to assess is whether or not he is an effective person, whether he is efficient at collective uplift, whether there have been policy shifts and demands that he has made, whether he has gotten people on board and say, we're going to galvanize behind the policy. If all you're doing is galvanizing behind dead black bodies and raising money off of it, even if it's case by case by case, you are not doing what you should be doing with that amount of money. We can get people at small orgs who don't receive much money and are local to raise money for the family. We don't need you to do that. You can retweet them, though. You have a large following, retweet them. We don't need you in there doing that. See, the money ain't right for what you gave. You don't get to raise however much money you raise all the time you've been here. And then these millions of dollars on this one law project, and all you're doing is raising awareness and help people raise money. No. That ain't what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. That's not what anybody should want to be doing. So he's with all these prosecutorial officers or whatever, the DAs. But what you're seeing with this marginalized community language is that's mission drift. So let's go to the next one. Just you got to understand how to assess and reassess. It's just what it is. I make it that way. The Boston District Attorney's Office told the Daily Beast that its commission unfortunately did not get off the ground. So, wait a minute, you were partnering with all these people, you got a bunch of fanfare. Okay, Boston didn't get off the ground. And they admitted that. While the San Francisco DA's office said its committee had yet to hold a single meeting. One didn't get off the ground. One ain't held a meeting, but you had all this fanfare and you collected all this money based off of what you were doing. Right? That's what happened. And now you're telling me one didn't get off the ground, one didn't do nothing. We ain't even had a meeting. Philadelphia DA Larry Krasner, whose exceedingly close political ties to King and one of his PACs have gotten him slapped with thousands of dollars in campaign finance violation fees, did not respond to questions about the commission's status that were left with his office and on his personal cell phone. So he was like, I ain't got nothing to take. I ain't got nothing to really talk about. The nonprofit also asserted that the COVID-19 pandemic was partly to blame for all three commissions' failures to launch. I don't understand that because we were doing everything via Zoom. Like, you can have all kind of COVID-19 is not a reason for you not to have a meeting. We can have a meeting with Zoom all day, every day. So what's the problem? Nonetheless, they said the initiative only accounted for around 500,000 of the $2,654,434 figure. Ooh. The remainder, they indicated, went toward various policy pushes and campaigns for prosecutorial leniency, phone banking, donations, and other groups, and legal defense funds. Well, it ain't about where your money went. It's about what your money did. Let me say that one more time. It's not about where your money went. It's about what your money did. What did your money do? You can get on stage all day with politicians and talk good talk. What did your money do? Yeah, you had initiatives, right? How many of them even got close to winning? How many did we hear about? How many are still being pushed, right? Like, let me tell you something. Part of my problem with Shaun King is that he gives up on everything. This is not about whether or not he's a scammer. To me, I understand how people feel, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that the key question is effectiveness. And he gives up on everything. He said, no, he give up. He has a bunch of stuff that he did and he tried. Remember he tried to climb the mountain. He said he asked for money. He said he was going to climb 7 mountains. This has been years ago. He said he was going to climb 7 mountains, child. He said, I'm going to climb and I want money to do it. Well, I think if you're going to climb your mountains, that's a hobby. You should pay for yourself to climb the mountains. You shouldn't come to me asking me to climb no mountains. But people donated. He said he was going to climb the mountains. People donated thinking this man was going to climb a mountain. And I don't remember one mountain he climbed. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know. He climbed the mountain. I heard he gave up. It was real hard. And I don't like nobody with that kind of quit in them. That's a lot of quit you got in you. You just stop one project and go to the next. I couldn't do that when I'm gonna go to this one. It's just like, it's almost like there's an ADHD. See, I don't want to go to whether or not he's a scam. I don't know. But what I know is that you give up a lot. You start a bunch of stuff and it's the best thing in the world, and you send out great emails with great copy and all that stuff, and the next thing we know, child, you ain't climbing not one mountain. And did the money get refunded? I don't know. Did it? Somebody tell me. I don't know. That's the problem that I have. The problem he quit. People don't really pay attention to the fact that Shaun King quits on everything. Let's go to the next one. Next quick quote. The Grassroots Law Project is extremely proud of the civil rights work we have accomplished since our inception. You didn't go into it. Now let's see what the civil rights work they've accomplished looks like. Does this Martin Luther King got in the room and signed a bill? Well, I mean, was pushing for that, and we got a lot of it after he got assassinated, which is horrible. But I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about. What y'all did? We've made over 1.6 million phone calls, sent over 100 million advocacy emails, hosted over 1,000 unique events with 35 brilliant staff members fighting against violence, mass incarceration, and racial injustice. Well, listen, I do agree that sending out emails and that sort of a thing is important. I do agree that like reaching out to people and all that, but that is not accomplishing anything. That ain't accomplishing nothing. You have not accomplished. You have been in this space for at least a decade, sir, and there are no accomplishments. There are just millions of dollars that have gone into pockets unaccountable for, and don't nobody want to talk about it. Daily Beast's gonna write about it though. Everybody's gonna write about it, and you know what's gonna happen? Every time y'all say something like this is what's gonna happen. He gonna lock his tweets, or he gonna deactivate something. None of this is accountability. You're not gonna, if you hold somebody, parents, y'all know, if you don't hold your kids accountable, what happens? The kid go to school, act up, and you find out when the kid gets home, your child gets home, your daughter, she showed her teacher her butt. Your son was in the room just passing gas. Like, and he come, oh, you was just disrupting the class. What happens if you don't hold your child accountable? It is amazing to me. Absolutely amazing that we understand how to hold children accountable, but we do not understand how to hold our racial advocacy orgs and people accountable. Listen, if people don't know when to leave, you have to tell them to get out. Let me say that again. If people don't know when to leave, you have to tell them when to get out. Hey, what you finna do? Because you ain't finna stay here. What you finna do after this? That means you got to get out. That means you've overstayed your welcome. You have to tell people, listen, It's not even about whether or not you scamming. You can, because I know you're going to get an email. Hey, family, I might have made mistakes, but I'm not a scammer. I brought attention to stuff, and I've been doing the best I can. Yeah, okay, but you're not effective. I think y'all know I always say, if you want to get to the right answers, you got to ask the right questions. And I don't think the key question is whether or not Shaun King is a scammer. The key question is, has he been effective at what he's doing? And what he was supposed to do, at least to my mind, was not just bring attention to people who have been murdered and just, you don't get millions of dollars just to give them some money. There's something else that should be there. Because if that's all you're going to do is bring attention, we can do that without giving you millions of dollars. We can. We don't need to do that. So this investment is lopsided. Where we're giving you a whole bunch of money, all the monies we're giving you, and what we're getting back is like you tweeting about it and saying, we got to help them out and give donation to this. And you being in our inbox talking about family. Listen. Like there is nothing y'all will do. Man. They made a bunch of phone calls. Well, let's go to what else. Let's talk about what else they did. Let's just get into it. The 2020 tax filings the Daily Beast received show King earned a salary of $104,167 as the Grassroots Laws Project executive director during the group's first 12 months. But the group's representative told Daily Beast compensation has since swelled to $250,000, or around twice the median compensation for nonprofit executives. He's making $250,000 off of something that he ain't did nothing with. They said they ain't had no meetings. They ain't really did nothing. They just made phone calls and sent emails. And this man is making $250,000 off of money he's collected. And y'all don't want to say nothing? Don't nobody want to say nothing? Don't nobody want to tell the man to leave, get out, get his hat? Like my daddy always say, get your hat. It's time to get your hat. Don't nobody want to tell the man to get his hat? That's a problem when you don't want to tell people to get their hat when it's time to go. And I don't understand it anyway. Let me tell you, I do not understand it. Why nobody wants to tell this man, like, listen, in no uncertain terms, it's time for you to get your hat. I'm looking for something very specific. You know why? Because he's making $250,000 here, and that's why he spent $40,000 on that guard dog. He said I couldn't have a gun, so I spent $40,000 on a guard dog. And then he said the dog bit at him, and he had to get rid of the dog. You just it was something crazy. I don't know. Somebody tell me what he said. He said something where the dog was aggressive. Yeah, he bit at you. But let me see if I can find this other clip, because this is why I think, maybe there's something going on, because some stuff don't make sense, right? So you $250,000 over there at the whatever. That's Daily Beast. It's not me, because we know you litigious, Shaun. But then you said you got into trouble, and this isn't even the fact that you got into trouble about the clothing line. I don't know how you have time to do justice for Negroes, and you finna do a clothing line. You a fashion designer. You doing all kinds of stuff, Shaun. I don't even know how you have time to. You have all kinds of ambitions. I ain't never seen. It's like a child. I want to be a fireman and a police officer and a teacher and an executive, and I also want to go to the moon. Figure out what you want to do with your life. This is not just like sell the BLM shirt or whatever. You're doing all kinds of stuff. And it's not even, listen, I'm not even talking about that. This is what gets me. We're talking about early orders. The way he answered this was very interesting. When they accused him, he said this is a fabrication. He said we had nearly 3,500 orders and shipped every order. Now, for those of y'all who didn't look, them shirts was like $100 or something. Right? If these are early orders. I don't know what. So you made at least like $350K from just like your first orders. Why are you taking all this money from this nonprofit? You taking $250K. Ooh, you making money hand over foot. I'm not even talking about whether or not you did any of the stuff they said you did with the orders. I'm not talking about that. That's not my issue. My issue is it seems like you are bilking the system. And this is This is very interesting from somebody who got on to the web and said that he's been black. I've been black ever since ninth grade. Everybody who knows me know I've been blacker than black. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Shaun King is the reason I have to keep some of my hair growed out. I'm just telling the truth. Shaun King is the reason I could never shave my head, because people don't even believe that real light-skinned Negroes exist, because so many questions and controversies around your race. I have to keep a little bit of nap out there, a little kink out there, because of what you have caused. People look at me sideways. Well, we gotta look at you because of Shaun King. You have totally messed up life for the rest of us, because you went there and I've been a Negro since ninth grade. What the hell? I ain't never seen nobody become a Negro in the ninth grade. Yeah, become a Negro in high school. Well, guess what? Ever since about the ninth grade, I've been all the way black. I've been ADOS since ninth grade. That's when it really came in full. This is a mess. Yeah, what was you before ninth grade? Somebody said. That's why I want to know that too. Ever since ninth grade, like, listen, you gotta tell people when to leave. You gotta tell people you have been in this space. You create a lot of controversy. It's not just, racists and right-wingers are always going to create controversy because they don't want us to have nothing. No reparations, no nothing. But you just walk into it and then you be like, fam, they really be on me. You got to give me some more money because they be on me. That's kind of not why you're supposed to give an organization money. And I say this, in terms of the ADOS Advocacy Foundation, because I think it's time to pivot. It's time to pivot away from BLM. It's time to pivot away from Shaun King. It's time to do something new. How long are we going to do this? These people have been around since like Trayvon. Even before that, I remember Shaun King doing something, talking about a church and a child molester or something. Oh my Lord, it's too much. How long are we going to be here? How long are we going to be here with the child? I'm just trying to figure it out. How long are we going to do this? It's got a bunch of more stuff. I'm not even going to go through all this stuff right here. Ooh. You be a part of the Grassroots Law Project. You got to be a part of it. Rihanna done gave the child an award. I saw somebody on TV the other day. Man, Shaun King deserves the Pulitzer Prize. What do you know what the Pulitzer Prize is for, Dodo Bird? No, you don't. It's all right. No, ain't no way, child. That's straight hair. That's why I have to keep hair grown out. Because people are like, well, you could be another Shaun King. Oh! So what we have to do is move. We have to move away from this, and we have to move. And that's what the ADOS Foundation is. And we don't have any problem with being held accountable. These people have a problem with being held accountable. Every time they get held accountable, well, the white man, they out to get me. And they said the article published today was inaccurate. This is not a surprise. Yeah, that's what y'all say all the time. And this is just about whether you've been affected. See, y'all can go read it yourself. It's up on their Twitter. You can go read it. But for me, this is about effectiveness. I don't even get into what Shaun is or whatever. I just ask, are you effective? Ask yourself, from the time Shaun King got here, to now, ask yourself, are you better off? Do you feel like we do better politics? Do you feel like we are better on Capitol Hill? Do you feel like he has played a role in proposing better legislation to uplift? Has he been successful in at least attempting to galvanize people behind transformative politics and uplift? Has he been effective at that? Ask yourself if you are better off. This is the time to be selfish. Your politics is the time to be selfish. How better off am I when this when this man came in than now? Am I better off? Is my family better off? Do I side with his politics? Have I ever heard any political? You all heard us start talking about disaggregation years ago. You all heard us make the case for reparations years ago. You all heard Antonio and I make the case for the wealth, how inheritance is important and how you can't make it up with income. You heard all of that years ago. There would be no disaggregation discussion without ADOS, without us saying we have to be taken out of here so you can count our contribution, right? And you can count, and we have to count the cost of us being here, and other people mask our, other people mask our failure. That's all Antonio and Yvette and ADOS. What has he done that made you say, I want to stand with this person? You have to assess you have to assess that. You have to assess and reassess. Nobody gets to be with you or lead you in this advocacy space just because they're good people or you think they're good people. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. We are in too dire a situation for you to just be like, well, I think he's trying, or I think he's really working hard, Yvette, or I think he's really giving it a go. That's not what this is about. You have been here too long to be this effective. It's time to take whatever money you got and walk it off. Walk it off somewhere else. We have got to be willing to let these people go and leave them alone. And if they don't know when to leave, we got to tell them when to leave. And especially us as ADOS, especially our allies, right? Especially white people. Y'all got to be able to say, listen, I want my money back. I thought I was donating to something. He was saying all the right stuff, and this ain't right. You have to be willing to close the door on people. You just got to. Listen, I'm not. It is what it is. This is life. And our life is worth too much. How much do you think your life is worth? How much do you think your child's life is worth? Do you support somebody who was raising money off the death of Chadwick Boseman? Hello, my friend. I hope that you are hanging in there. This is the Shaun King email. Allegedly. You got to say that with litigious. I hope that you are hanging in there. Yesterday, I sent an email checking on everybody. And just a few hours later, learned the death of Chadwick Boseman. Life is very fragile. Tomorrow is not promised. Over the past 6 years of Black Lives Matter movement, I have traveled to 47 states teaching, organizing, learning, and leading. And for all 6 years, everywhere I go, people ask me, Shaun, how do I actually use my life, my skills, my time, my energy to impact change and change the world? My book, Make Change, is a 272-page answer to that question. Now, you went from Chadwick Boseman's life and his death, and life ain't promised to buy my book. I just want to know what we're doing. I just really want to know what we're... Okay, let me just... It's not an autobiography. I tell my story, of course, but it's actually a guide to help you through this exact moment that we are in right now. I am not here today to promote a product. Yes, you are. You just promoted the book. I am here to promote a solution, an answer. Now, since Chadwick Boseman died, rest in peace. Rest in peace to him. Have we seen a solution or an answer anywhere? At a time when we desperately need clarity. Have y'all seen clarity? I haven't. The book is available at every bookstore in the country, online and off. You can purchase it on Amazon. You can purchase it on Black-owned bookstore. Here. You can purchase it Barnes & Noble. You can purchase my book. You can purchase it at Target. Books A Million. I just want you to have it in this moment. So I need your book because Chadwick Boseman passed away. I need your book. I wrote it for this moment. We have over 700 5-star reviews on Amazon from readers who are putting lessons to great use. And listen, I hate to even have to say this, but when I write an email like this, it's not for profit or personal gain. I don't make a dime off of selling books. Say what? I was paid a year ago. Yeah, but royalties, residual, child, we know. I write these emails to help get us on the same page. Y'all remember when he tried to flip the Senate? It's just, I think something's going on. Like, it's just so much that you do, sir. It's just too much. Every few months you on some other page. We need 100,000 donors to help us flip the Senate. It's always something. Wasn't he getting the cotton from Zimbabwe or something for them shirts? Somebody put something there about the shirts. Wasn't he getting the shirts from like Zimbabwe? You don't even know anything about supply lines and supply chains. We gonna have them pick cotton in Zimbabwe and we gonna bring it over here and we gonna put the cotton and we gonna make a best shirt and I'm gonna sell it to you for $110. What in the world? So this was one of the things. Y'all remember when they did the whole Daily Beast thing, they said he was doing the North Star. He's still doing the North Star. Don't nobody pay attention to it. And he said that nobody could talk about it, and Ben Dixon couldn't talk about what happened with the North Star because they put him under, and ain't nothing wrong with NDAs, but you put him under so he couldn't talk about what happened to it. And so the thing just went left or whatever. He was still on the day talking about give some money to the North Star. Y'all need to subscribe to the North Star or whatever. Imagine using Frederick Douglass' name like that. Imagine. I mean, oof. Lord of mercy. The ability to assess and reassess who is effective and beyond raising awareness, to do piecemeal stuff, to raise money here and there, to do real collective uplift and not just climbing mountains, not BLM, not Shaun King, not the National Action Network, none of which are focused squarely on us. The ability to see that and decide who you are going to be with and who you are going to be on the same page with is key. Scattered mission drift is a problem. Why are we gonna be on the North Star? And even when you talk about why to do it, this is why I think this is why I think he might be a narcissist. When you talk about why you should join the North Star, all I see is pictures of you. All I see is pictures of you. So you put up a thing about, hey, join the North Star. 4 years, we launched, we still independent, telling the truth. You put that up. Like, that's what you put up, right? Nearly 4 years after we launched, we are still fully independent and speaking truth to power like no other platform in America, but we simply cannot do it without your support. You can't do nothing without my support, boy. I tell you the truth. And then what you put up is a bunch of pictures of you. I've never seen such narcissism. If you all have done a bunch of good work and stuff, why do I just need to see pictures of you, Shaun? That's a key. If you ask me, that's very narcissistic behavior. I don't want to see a bunch of pictures of you. Why I want to look at you for? That's a sign of narcissism to me. And it's also frenzy. This man be doing one thing one moment, the next thing the next moment. He everywhere at all times. He got 1,000 projects going. Well, I made a mistake, but I ain't mean nothing bad by it. I wasn't trying to do nothing, hurt nobody. I just blame it to everything is blame it to my head and not my heart. And sometimes that's true for people. We make mistakes, but everything can't be a damn mistake. And you think you're going to do something and you think we should follow you. Everything is a mistake and you ineffective and you just, well, that's not what happened. And let me explain it to you. Well, that's not what really, everything is fam. I need your support. And the same thing happened with BLM. Raise a bunch of money. No policy. And then they tried to confuse us because they put a bunch of stuff. This was BLM regular, BLM global, BLM diet, BLM with extra sugar. They had a bunch of different names, right? So we didn't know who was who. So Alicia Garza would come out and run out when it was time to take credit and be on Roland Martin's show. Yes, Roland, I don't know why Ice Cube hates me so much. Ice Cube, why do you hate me? Why do you not like me? Patrice Cullors could cry. And we didn't know that, hey, wait a minute, Alicia Garza was some kind of thing that's being funded by the Chinese right now. We don't know what's going on. What's going on? We thought you was with no, wait a minute. And wait a minute, the people who's doing Black Lives Matter work are the local people and not y'all. And they don't even know where y'all at and where y'all been and what's going on. And you all don't have any kind, y'all don't really have any staff at BLM. And y'all don't really have any staff at a lot of these places. But you're taking in a bunch of money. You gotta let people know when to leave. Most people don't get to stick around for a lifetime. We have a bunch of lifetime leaders who don't lead. anywhere. They just write good copy. The Chadwick Boseman email was just really good copy. Hey fam, life is short. It's awful to try to make money off somebody's death. But hey, life is short. You know, I have a book. When people always ask me how can I help in my life, I tell them to go and read my book. I don't make no money off these books. I'm just trying to show you how to live your best life in organizing. You ain't lived your best life in organizing. What have you accomplished? Regurgitating. We're going to do the South Africa thing, and we're going to do it like that. Listen, you got to let people know when to leave. You got to let people know when to go. You got to let people, you got to fire your activists. You have to fire organizers. You got to fire your leaders when they are leading you into all the wrong places and making a bunch of money for themselves and not making money for you. You got to know you're making your life better, and you are not even moving along the the path to make my life better. This is about you. And just like if you were an executive at a company, you would fire him. You would say, you're not doing your job. And you would say, listen, I have not seen any indication from you that you're even trying to I ain't seen no different plans. I have not seen you stick to one thing. I have real problems with the way you do your work. I have real problems with the way you execute. So I think it's time for us to part ways. You would do that as an executive. And I think in terms of our advocacy, you have to learn to think of yourself as an executive of your own life. You're an executive of your own life. You are CEO of your life. You are CEO of your children's life, at least until they're grown. And you have to behave that way. Nobody gets the benefit of the doubt. You got to be very cutthroat. And you got to say, what are you doing and how? If you got somebody who can't stick with nothing and every few weeks they with something else, listen, there's no way to be successful if you hopping around like Jimmy the Frog. There's no way to be successful at that. I have been doing this. My article about the problem with Obama, he's not African American, was in 2010 or 11. It's 2022. You just got to be able to stay on a path for a very long time. And most of that time, people might not even be on your same page. But since you don't require validation from nobody, you get to keep going. You have to be able to do that. It's a lot of Jimmy the Bullfrogs running around here. Okay, we're not doing black no more. We're doing marginalized. Okay, I'm going to do marginalized too. We're going to do it together. Okay, I'm going to do it with you too. That's not good enough. You have to be able to fire your activists and fire these people who get in this space and say they're finna do something for you, and they be here a decade and have not even advocated for the thing that you need them to advocate for. Shaun King is not advocating for a thing. He ain't doing that. He is not advocating for like policy. Now have a meeting with people. Listen, COVID or not, you can have a meeting with all those DAs and you can have a meeting with all of them. COVID don't stop no meeting. You probably done moved on to something else. You're gonna climb another mountain or something. You finna go run a marathon. It's just scattered. It's just all very scatterbrained. And scatterbrainedness does not create political cohesiveness. So I think we need to start thinking about who has imagination and who is staying the path. And I think once you look at that, I think you're going to realize that in terms of political advocacy, the 8 Ounce Advocacy Foundation is just the only space. There's no other space right now. And I'm not saying it just because, you said because no, I don't see it. Like, I would like to be able to partner with some people and reach out and say, hey, let's do some stuff together. I just don't see it from these people who are in this black political space. I see a bunch of grifter. I see a bunch of crime. I see a bunch of you forcing people to defend you all the time, as opposed to you doing stuff for us and for yourself. That's what I see. And that's just not good enough. So, fam, that's all I have to say for right now. Give me a second. I'll set up the phones, as usual, and we can have the conversation, because I'm very curious to see what everybody got to say. So give me like a couple minutes. I'll set up the phones and we can talk about it. If you read the article, let me know. If you got thoughts, feelings, or whatever the case may be, let me know. All right. Let me tell y'all something. I have never, ever, in the history of any show, hold on a second. In the history, like this lets me know how right, absolutely right, absolutely, if you would say absolutely right, I was today. I have never in the history had a show where nobody called in to disagree. Or just to be like, maybe that was I agree with you here, and here's what I think. Not one call. Not one. I walked away to get myself some water. And let me tell you, fam, nobody's called to say nothing about Mr. Kane. Not one person. Normally I have to lead the line. It's too many, except on Patreon because Patreon is smaller, right? But you know, I have like 3 or 4 calls. Normally on a YouTube show, you gotta lead the line. Like it's just too many people. It's just too many people. I always leave like 4 people on there. I couldn't get to you. Sorry, I apologize. Nobody called and say nothing. Listen, fam, I think we too right. And I think people, what people are having a hard time dealing with this is the reason, because this is like, people are like, yeah, it was funny, but yeah, we already know it. We already know. We know. We didn't, it's great that you pointed it out, but we already know what he is and what he ain't. Well, I think now is the time to really do something about it. Now is the time that you got to be vocal. Like if somebody's around, I don't really support that. He hasn't really done anything. I'm past the phase of just raising awareness. That's not where I am no more. I'm past the phase of, well, you just got to get the word out. That's not where I'm at no more. I'm not at the phase of just getting the word out no more. Like we have a group of people who are starving out. I'm not at the phase of just no. And where the Shaun King supporters at? Y'all ain't on the line? You on the line? Because you used to be, well, Yvette, at least, you got to give him a chance. I'm looking for y'all. You're not on the line. Everybody in the chat is in agreement. That's why they ain't calling. Ain't nobody going to call just be like, yep. Where y'all at? All the people who telling me all these years, I'm looking at the phone. Where y'all at? Oh. You changed your mind after all these years. You came around and you don't want to talk about it no more? You don't want to talk about how I'm jealous and how I'm a hater no more? Oh, you don't want to talk about it, huh? Oh, Yvette, you don't like nobody. You don't want to talk about it no more? Because you used to want to talk about it. You used to want to talk about it a lot. Let me pull up this old style cup. What y'all know about Tupperware? Don't nobody want to talk about it. What? No. What, Yvette? You just. Oh, we got one call. Let's see. 954. Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Cause don't nobody want to talk about it.
Yeah.
What's up, fam?
954. Hey man, it's Am time. I'm trying to get in there. I ain't never called you before, but I've been listening to you for a long time. Yeah, you understand? So I feel the same way that you feel it and everybody else in the ADOS community feel it.
And how's that, fam? How you feel?
I feel the boy he ain't here for us. He want me to pay for his house and all, and I probably really ain't got too much seriousness to say nothing about that. And like anything, I'm not a real nigga anyway, but I hope you beat that out. But yeah, this is for all my ADOS family. Thanking, just say hello to you, say hello to Tone, and to say hello to all my ADOS that's tuned in right now. Man, I love the show, and I'm glad that you answered my call.
No, appreciate you, fam.
Have a great night.
Thank you, fam. Thank you. And listen.
I'm just gonna sit back, and I'm gonna listen to everybody else. I'm a blue collar worker. I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, and listen, appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you. Listen, I think I think, appreciate you. I think we done settled the whole Shaun King thing. If you want to call in and talk about something else, you can. If you want to call in and talk about that, you can. I think we done settled that thing. Because that's why everybody, listen, we all in agreement. Ain't nobody got nothing to really to say too much. But let me go to 412. 412, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Veg. Hey, Ada's family. You called out the allies, so and then nobody called in, so I thought, well, I felt compelled.
Oh,
well, this is your German ally via Pittsburgh.
Oh, we ain't heard from you in a while. How you been doing?
Okay, it's been quite the year. It's been quite the year, but I just got back from Germany actually, and so I'm back. Well, the Shaun King, there are so many people like him, and I think so. I didn't feel called out because I ever donated to him because I wouldn't. I don't have a lot of money, and what little I have, I try to spend wisely. But the problem with these people is that they're a distraction. It is about the money, but it's about distraction. And I followed him for a while, and it's just all drama. You know, a lot of these people, they just follow the latest drama, and it's all about the clicks, and it's all about, it's really all about them. You know, it's a job, it's a gig, and that's how they make their money.
A well-paying
gig.
That's
all you have to realize.
It's a gig that pays very well.
I can't hear you, but that's okay. I mean, I just want to say that the sad thing about it is that people allow themselves to be defined so much by what these people say, and they just, you know, don't allow celebrities in general. Don't follow that drama. You know, define yourself and be you and live your life, and you know, don't be distracted. That's all.
No, appreciate you. Thank you for calling.
You have a good night.
You have a good night too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And we always appreciate allies, right? And I think she's right. It's just like, I mean, it's just drama. And I think too, when people start having associations with celebrities, we get kind of celebrity driven. Oh, he was the Rihanna and he was with the so and so. And I told you somebody call out, Shaun King deserves for what? Like, you gotta be so out of touch to think that he deserves what? Like, what did he do? Right? It's been a bunch of years of allowing your Twitter page, and I don't know how true this is. I heard somebody say he charges for his, you know, I don't know if it's true or not, but somebody said that he charges for like tweets, right? I mean, he charges for like if you wanna, let's say you want to get awareness or whatever, he'll charge you for that. And so I just don't know. I just feel like this is a very important. The fact that we didn't have any. If I had done this a few years ago, everybody wouldn't be in the chat just laughing. There would be people calling in defending Shaun King. And the fact that that's not happening, I think we are getting to a certain place where we're beginning to understand as a group what advocacy should look like. Nobody's asking anybody to be perfect, but we are asking people to be effective in terms of their mission, and in terms of the tools that they use and what they advocate for. And it just can't be awareness. And let me just tell you, I think the fact that it's so quiet, I love it. Oh, I love it. I think that says so much, because I have spent so many years fighting with people who call in, well, now, and you da. No, everybody in the chat is in agreement. It just is what it is. So I want to thank everybody. Listen, we got a short show because we didn't have much to get through. Listen, tomorrow, for those of you on Patreon, we'll be reading the Good Immigrants, right? Let me tell you. It will set you, for those of you who, even if you're not on Patreon, please, pick up the book. Even if you're not on Patreon, I really want you to pick up the book. I understand you might not feel like it's for you or whatever the case may be. Or I understand you might think it's a long read or whatever. Please pick it up, because what what everything from making Hispanics to this book, what they kind of proven. I'm not gonna go into detail for the people who are gonna be there tomorrow. We'll go through the first half and then we'll go through the second half next week. But what it does show, what it absolutely shows, is that people have been lying to us when they say we're all minorities and we all went through stuff. You see, going through chapter by chapter by chapter, you see how different we are. You see what opportunities were given and that to other people and were never given to us, right? And people will say it's kind of like Obama trying to catch a cab. Well, I ain't able to catch a cab. That's not the same thing as being hung from a tree. Please hush. Right? And so tomorrow we'll get into that. For those of you all who are going to be there, we'll get into it. It's gonna be a good show. I forget what tier that's on. I think is that the $5 tier or whatever. I don't know. I set it up that way. So I seen a lot of y'all moving from the 3 to 5 for 1 month to get the book club. I ain't no hater. But it is what it is, you know, and it's gonna be an intimate conversation because I think I got like 1,000 patrons, so it'll be an intimate conversation. So you know, even if you're not a Patreon, please pick up that book. Please read it. It's on par with Making Hispanic. So if you haven't read this stuff, please pick it up. It's great. It just informs you when you're having these debates. And it's just wonderful. Somebody said, what's the name of the book? So somebody please put the name of the book in there. I had the book in here with me because it's Good Immigrants, but it's a subtitle too. It's The Good Immigrants, How the Yellow Peril Became the Model Minority. Man, check it out. Check it out. Even if you can't be there tomorrow, check it out. And that is it, fam. Please hit the like button. We are not gone. I'm here every Wednesday now. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed to the channel. Got all kind of stuff coming up with the launch of the org. So just stay tuned for that. I will be announcing everything here. So please just stay tuned. Again, Mondays and Thursdays or Patreon Wednesday is here. Please finish your libation, fam. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And I will see you either tomorrow or next Wednesday. All right?